And I learned a lot because I'd never done live television in front of a live audience. But every single morning I would go into the meetings and I'd want to talk about the drug war in Colombia, for example, or about the rise of extremism in the world. And inevitably the boss would say, Lisa, a nice effort, but nobody wants to hear about what's going on in the world. And I knew that even though my job was to be the kind of pop culture expert, it was my job to be the commentator of all the fashion shows and to dance with Justin Timberlake, which I certainly didn't mind doing by any means. But I really felt like I had so much more to offer given these international experiences that I had while I was at Channel 1. So I committed because the show consists of 5 women with very vocal opinions to at least, as the young person, say one thing every day that would provoke people to think. Whether you agreed with me or you vehemently disagreed, I just wanted to say one thing that made someone go, wow, I'd never thought about things that way. And so I did that. And I stayed at The View for 3.5 years, and then September 11th happened. And I'm not sure how old many of you guys were on September 11th, 2001, but if you all recall, there was this air of patriotism that was pervading our country. Everybody was wearing the flag pins, and understandably so. It was a devastating thing that happened on September 11th. But I went on television, and I said something along the lines of, I keep bumping up, what happened on September 11th was one of the most catastrophic, devastating, egregious acts of terror ever imaginable. But just for a moment, maybe we should ask why this happened. Who might have wanted to perpetrate such an attack? Just a simple question. Yeah, they were just kind of questions that I was curious about. Well, when I asked those questions, I was shocked because we were inundated with email criticizing me. Some of the emails said, I'm glad you asked those questions, but the overwhelming majority of emails said, you don't know what you're talking about. Go back to China. I know, right? I'm like, I'm from Sacramento, California, come on now, No matter how confident you are, when someone makes a racial slur or a racial epithet, it just hits you right at the core. And it was at that moment that I knew that I had to get back into the field, because when I was on The View, I had to be in a studio every day. But I knew that my calling was to be out in the world and trying to communicate international stories to an American audience. So I was ready to leave The View, but I didn't know where I was going to go. And my agent said, well, why don't you come and talk to the folks at National Geographic? And I thought, well, okay, I'll go talk to them. My dad reads the magazine, sure. And I walked through the offices of National Geographic, and they had this incredible photography exhibit of pictures taken by North Vietnamese soldiers during the Vietnam War. And it was just a perspective that I'd never seen before. So I knew I wanted to work there. And somehow I convinced the executives there to bring me on as as the first female host of Explorer. And I'm not sure if you've ever gotten a chance to see any of the work that I've done for National Geographic, but I brought some clips. So I'd love to show you. If we can roll tape for a second. Great. All right, we're locked in now. Right now, this is the yard time for sea facilities.